Europe is a truly fascinating continent. It stretches from the icy Arctic Ocean in the north. It reaches down to the warm Mediterranean Sea in the south. Across this vast area we find an amazing variety of landscapes. There are towering mountains, great flowing rivers, and ancient forests. Each of these places has its own special weather. This weather, over long periods, creates the climate. And Europe's climates are as diverse as its peoples and its wildlife. This diversity has shaped life here for thousands of years, but now a great change is underway. The Earth's climate is warming up. This is not a small natural fluctuation. It is a significant and rapid shift. We call this climate change. And it is having a profound impact on Europe. The familiar patterns of weather are being disrupted. Summers are becoming hotter. Rainfall is becoming more unpredictable. This affects every living thing, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, and of course it affects us human beings very deeply. This warming is largely caused by our own activities. For many years we have burned fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas. We use them to power our homes, our industries and our transport. Burning these fuels releases gases into the atmosphere. These are called greenhouse gases. They act like a blanket around the Earth. They trap the sun's heat. This makes the planet warmer. It is a simple process, but its consequences are enormous for Europe and the world. In the following sections we will explore Europe's climates in more detail. We will journey from region to region. We will see how each area's traditional climate is being altered. We will also consider the patterns of daylight, how they vary across this great continent, and whether climate change might influence how we experience that light. It is a story of immense importance, a story that concerns every one of us, and it is a story that is still unfolding. Europe is not defined by a single climate. Instead, it is a rich tapestry woven from many different climatic threads. In the west, the vast Atlantic Ocean exerts a powerful influence. It brings moisture and relatively mild temperatures. Warm ocean currents, such as the famous Gulf Stream, act like a gentle radiator. They prevent winters from becoming too severe. This creates what is known as a temperate maritime climate. It is a climate known for its green landscapes and frequent rain, common in places like Ireland. If we travel south towards the Mediterranean Sea, the climate changes dramatically. Here the sun holds sway for much of the year. Summers are typically hot and very dry. Winters are milder and are the season when most rain falls. This climate is perfect for plants like olive trees and grapevines. It has nurtured ancient civilizations for millennia. Countries like Spain, Italy and Greece share this sun-drenched weather. It is a climate that draws millions of visitors each year seeking warmth and light. Moving inland, away from the moderating seas, we enter Central and Eastern Europe. Here the climate is more continental. This means there are greater differences between summer and winter. Summers can be very warm, even hot. Winters are often cold with significant snowfall. The transition between seasons is usually quite clear. This type of climate shapes the vast forests and fertile agricultural lands found in these regions. It dictates the rhythm of life for many communities living far from the ocean's embrace. Finally, let us look to the far north of Europe, to Scandinavia and the lands bordering the Arctic. Here the climate is subarctic or even tundra. Winters are extremely long, exceptionally cold and very dark. Summers, in contrast, are short and cool, though daylight can last for many hours. Ice and snow dominate these landscapes for a large part of the year. Life in these harsh conditions is uniquely adapted. It represents another extreme in Europe's remarkable range of climates, a testament to nature's adaptability. Western Europe is a region caressed by the Atlantic Ocean. Countries like the United Kingdom, Ireland and much of France are found here. The Netherlands and Belgium also share this coastal climate. Traditionally, their weather is mild and quite damp. Rain can be expected at any time of year. This consistent moisture keeps the countryside famously green. The Gulf Stream, that warm river in the ocean, plays a crucial role. It maintains moderate temperatures, especially during the winter months, preventing extreme cold. However, climate change is now subtly, yet significantly, altering these familiar patterns. We are observing more frequent episodes of intense rainfall. These downpours can overwhelm rivers and drainage systems. This leads to damaging floods in towns and cities. Summers too are changing. They are becoming hotter than they used to be. Prolonged heat waves, once quite unusual, are now a more regular occurrence. These changes place stress on people, on agriculture, and on natural ecosystems. The old gentle balance is being disturbed. Consider the United Kingdom, an island nation known for its gentle drizzle. It is now experiencing hotter, drier spells in summer more often. This can lead to concerns about water supplies. Paradoxically, it is also seeing more powerful winter storms. These storms bring ferocious winds and torrential rain. Along the coasts, erosion is accelerating. The relentless sea is claiming more land. These are not distant threats, they are happening now. The landscape is visibly changing under this new climatic pressure. France also feels these shifts. Its world-renowned vineyards are sensitive to temperature changes. Grapes are ripening earlier than in past decades. This could alter the character of its famous wines. The Netherlands, with much of its land below sea level, faces a grave threat from rising seas. The Dutch are masters of water management with centuries of experience, yet the challenge posed by climate change is immense. It requires constant innovation and investment to protect their homes and land. Southern Europe is a land blessed by the Mediterranean sun. Think of Spain and Portugal on the Iberian Peninsula, Italy with its long coastline, Greece with its many islands. Malta and Cyprus too are jewels of this sea. Their climate is celebrated for its long, hot and dry summers. Winters are generally mild and bring the much-needed rain. This specific climate supports unique and beautiful ecosystems. Olive groves, citrus orchards and fragrant herbs thrive here. It is a region steeped in history and natural beauty. Climate change is impacting this sun-kissed region with particular force. Summers are becoming even hotter than before. Extended heat waves are becoming more frequent and intense. These extreme temperatures pose serious risks to human health. Water, always a precious resource here, is becoming scarcer. Droughts are lasting longer and are more severe. This has devastating consequences for agriculture. Farmers struggle to grow crops when the rains fail. The parched land becomes vulnerable and less productive. Forest fires are an increasingly terrifying threat in southern Europe. The combination of extreme heat and prolonged dryness creates perfect conditions for wildfires. A single spark, whether from lightning or human carelessness, can ignite vast areas of forest and scrubland. We have witnessed truly catastrophic fires in countries like Greece, Portugal and Spain. These fires destroy homes, decimate wildlife populations and claim lives. They also release huge quantities of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further worsening climate change. Italy is experiencing these impacts across its territory. The Po Valley, one of its most important agricultural regions, now regularly faces severe droughts. In the Italian Alps, ancient glaciers are melting at an alarming rate. This reduces the vital summer meltwater that feeds rivers and lakes. Spain is grappling with the serious problem of desertification. Large areas in the south are slowly turning into arid, desert-like landscapes. The cherished Mediterranean way of life, so intertwined with its climate, is truly under siege. Section 5. Central Europe, the heartland's changing seasons. Central Europe forms the very heart of the continent. It includes nations such as Germany, Poland and the Czech Republic. Austria and Switzerland, with their majestic Alps, are here. Hungary, Slovakia and Slovenia also belong to this region. The climate here is predominantly continental. This means warm, pleasant summers and cold winters, often with good snowfall. The 4 seasons are usually clearly defined, each bringing its own character to the land. It is a region of dense forests, mighty rivers and fertile plains. Climate change is introducing new and unwelcome uncertainties to Central Europe. Summers are consistently becoming hotter and drier. Heat waves, once occasional events, are now more common and last longer. This affects not only farming but also the health of the population, especially the elderly. Great rivers like the Rhine and the Danube are the lifeblood of this region. Lower water levels during summer heat waves impact vital shipping routes. They also threaten the delicate ecosystems that depend on a steady flow of water. Winters in Central Europe are also undergoing a transformation. There is often less snowfall than in previous generations. Sometimes precipitation that would have fallen as snow now comes as rain, even in midwinter. This is a significant concern for ski resorts in mountainous areas like the Alps. It also has wider implications for water resources. The spring melt of mountain snow is a crucial source of water for rivers throughout the spring and summer. Less snow means less available water later in the year. Germany has witnessed severe and unexpected flooding in recent years. Extremely heavy, localized rainfall has caused rivers to burst their banks with terrifying speed. Poland is experiencing increasingly hot summers, putting a strain on its water infrastructure and agriculture. The magnificent forests that cover much of Central Europe are also under stress. Drier conditions and higher temperatures make them more susceptible to insect infestations and diseases. And the risk of forest fires, once relatively low in many areas, is now growing. Section 6. Eastern Europe continental extremes becoming harsher. Eastern Europe covers a vast expanse of the continent. It includes countries like Ukraine, Romania, and Bulgaria. The Baltic states of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia also share some of these climatic characteristics. This region is dominated by a strong continental climate. This means that summers are typically warm and can become very hot. Winters, on the other hand, are cold, often severe, with substantial snowfall. The land is known for its rich, fertile soils, which support extensive agriculture, making it a breadbasket for many. Climate change is making the existing extremes of this continental climate even more pronounced. Summers are becoming noticeably hotter and are lasting longer. Droughts are a growing and serious concern for farmers across the region. The famous Chernozem or black earth soils, renowned for their fertility, desperately need moisture to yield good harvests. When the rains fail, crop yields can plummet. This has significant consequences for food security, both locally and for international markets that rely on grain from this region. Winters, while remaining generally cold, are becoming more unpredictable. There can still be periods of intense, biting cold. However, there are also more frequent instances of unusual thaws occurring in the middle of winter. This cycle of freezing and thawing can cause damage to infrastructure. Roads can crack, and buildings can be affected. Heavy snowfall can still occur, leading to disruption. But the overall reliability of winter weather patterns is decreasing, making long-term planning more difficult for everyone. Ukraine, often called the breadbasket of Europe, faces profound challenges. Increased frequency and intensity of droughts threaten its enormous agricultural output. Romania and Bulgaria, with their Black Sea coastlines, are seeing problems with coastal erosion. The unique and precious ecosystems of the Danube Delta, a haven for birdlife, are also vulnerable to changes in water levels and salinity. The Baltic states are concerned about the warming of the Baltic Sea. Its relatively shallow, enclosed waters are particularly sensitive to temperature changes, affecting fish stocks and marine life. Section 7. Northern Europe, Arctic warming and Nordic transformations. Northern Europe is a realm of stunning natural beauty. It encompasses the Nordic countries, Norway with its dramatic fjords, Sweden and Finland with their vast forests and countless lakes, Denmark, a land of islands and gentle landscapes, and Iceland, the land of fire and ice. These countries experience a range of climates. Coastal Norway benefits from the moderating influence of the Gulf Stream, making it milder than its latitude might suggest. Inland and further north, conditions become much colder. Winters are long, dark, and often intensely cold. Summers are short and cool, but the daylight can be almost continuous. This northern region of Europe is warming at a faster rate than many other parts of the planet. This is particularly true for the areas within and near the Arctic Circle. This phenomenon is known as Arctic amplification. As reflective white ice and snow melt, they expose darker land or ocean surfaces. These darker surfaces absorb more of the sun's energy rather than reflecting it. This leads to further warming, which in turn causes more ice to melt. It is a concerning feedback loop that accelerates change in these sensitive environments. Across Scandinavia, winters are generally becoming milder, especially in the southern parts. There is often less snow cover, and it arrives later and melts earlier. This directly affects traditional winter activities such as skiing and ice skating. For the indigenous Sami people who have herded reindeer for centuries, these changes are critical. Altered snow conditions make it more difficult for reindeer to dig down to find lichen, their primary food source. The ancient Sami way of life is under considerable pressure. Furthermore, permafrost, the permanently frozen ground found in Arctic regions, is beginning to thaw, potentially releasing trapped greenhouse gases. Iceland's magnificent glaciers are shrinking at a visible and alarming pace. This is one of the clearest indicators of a warming world. As these rivers of ice melt, they contribute to global sea level rise. They also dramatically alter the Icelandic landscape, creating new lakes and changing river flows. The seas around the Nordic countries are also warming. This affects the distribution and abundance of fish populations. Some species are moving further north to find cooler waters. This has significant implications for the fishing industry, a vital part of the economy for many Nordic communities. Section 8. The enduring rhythm of daylight across Europe. The amount of daylight we experience changes dramatically across Europe throughout the year. This beautiful and predictable variation is caused by the tilt of the Earth's axis. Our planet leans at an angle of about 23.5 degrees as it orbits the Sun. During Europe's summer, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the Sun. This results in long days and short nights. The further north one travels in Europe, the more pronounced this effect becomes. Some northernmost regions experience the magical midnight sun, where the sun does not set at all for a period. Conversely, during Europe's winter, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. This leads to short days and long, dark nights. Again, this effect is most extreme in the northern latitudes. In parts of Arctic Europe, communities experience the polar night. During this time, the sun does not rise above the horizon for several weeks. This natural rhythm of changing daylight hours has a profound influence on life. Plants, animals, and human societies have all adapted their behaviors and cycles to this annual dance of light and darkness. It's important to understand that climate change itself does not directly alter the Earth's tilt, nor does it change the length of a 24-hour day or the time it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun. These fundamental astronomical mechanics are incredibly stable. They operate on geological timescales far beyond human influence in this context. Therefore, the basic pattern of daylight hours, long in summer, short in winter, will continue across Europe. This is a constant, a reliable rhythm in our otherwise rapidly changing world. However, climate change can indirectly affect our perception and experience of daylight. For instance, changes in weather patterns might lead to increased cloud cover in certain regions. More clouds could reduce the amount of direct sunlight reaching the ground, even if the official daylight hours are long. Similarly, air pollution, which can sometimes be exacerbated by stagnant weather conditions linked to climate change, can dim the skies and reduce visibility. So, while the clock accurately tells us the duration of daylight, the quality and intensity of that light might be subtly influenced by these atmospheric changes. Section 9. Conclusion. Our shared European future in a changing climate. Our journey across Europe has revealed a continent of incredible climatic diversity, from the mild, rain-swept Atlantic coast to the frozen expanses of the Arctic, from the sun-drenched shores of the Mediterranean to the continental heartlands. Each region possesses its own unique climatic character. This character has been sculpted over millennia by the interplay of sun, wind, and water. It has given rise to a rich tapestry of ecosystems and human cultures. Europe's climates are a vital part of its natural heritage, yet, as we have seen, this intricate and long-established balance is now being profoundly disturbed. Climate change, driven by human activity, is a powerful and pervasive force. It is making Europe warmer. It is altering long-standing patterns of rainfall. It is leading to an increase in the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. Floods, droughts, heat waves, and powerful storms are becoming more common. No corner of Europe is immune to these effects. The evidence is clear and the impacts are growing year by year. The changing hours of daylight, that great celestial rhythm, are governed by the Earth's majestic journey through space. Climate change does not alter this fundamental astronomical cycle, but the reality of a warming planet serves as a stark reminder. Our Earth is a complex, interconnected system. Our actions, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases, can have far-reaching and serious consequences. The warming we are causing is not a distant problem. It is here, now, and it demands our urgent attention and responsible action. But even in the face of such a monumental challenge, there is room for hope. Scientific understanding of climate change is deeper than ever before. Public awareness of the issue is growing across Europe and around the world. Nations are beginning to collaborate more closely to find solutions. We have the knowledge and the tools to make a difference. We can significantly reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. We can transition to cleaner, renewable sources of energy. We can protect and restore our precious natural environments. Europe has overcome great challenges in its long history. By acting with wisdom, courage, and collective determination, we can strive to protect this remarkable continent for all future generations. The time for decisive action is now.